I opened my phone a week ago, and what I saw was this text message that says Avian Quinn Sparrow, February 14th, 2023, 10:56 a.m., 8 pounds, 8 ounces, 22.5 inches long. And that means that I have a new grandbaby, Avian Quinn. So in today's video tutorial, I am going to show you how I created a birth announcement keepsake for the couple. All right, let's take a look at the materials that we need to do this project. We start out with the silicone tray mold, which you see there. And so we have our Craft Smart Part A resin and our Part B hardener. Because we're doing a big volume, we're going to be using a measuring bowl. Clear coat, we'll use the measuring cup. For the bowl, we've got the paddle. For the measuring cup, just a stir stick. We of course need our nitrile gloves. And then mica powder. I have the Pearl X Pearl White, and I have the Mayspring White Chalcedony. I'm putting them both there because I haven't actually decided which one I'm going to use. And so we'll do the name. I had the regular permanent gloss vinyl, but I also have this shimmer, this glitter, this Cricut glitter vinyl that I like, mainly because it'll give it a little texture. And then we are going to do all of the statistics, the weight and the length and the time and everything, using tattoo paper. So I'm going to tuck that. How can I put this so you can still see it? Tattoo paper, we'll lay it like that. Okay, I think that's all I need. All right, it's time to get this party started. This is fairly simple to make. So we're going to start out by mixing our background resin. It will require 400 milliliters. So again, as I always say, I mark my container. So that purple line, 200, 400. So let me get that poured. Part B hardener, 200 milliliters. Part A resin, again 200 milliliters. Craft Smart resin. Instructions say to slowly mix for a minimum of 5 minutes. Slowly mix for a minimum of 5 minutes, so that's what we're going to do. Timer is set for 5 minutes. I'm not entirely sure if the camera will capture the difference in these colors. This is the Pearl X Pearl White, and I like this because it's really a beautiful pearl. But the Mayspring Chalcedone White has more of an ivory tint, and it's just, this is like a cooler white and this is a warmer white. So I'm going with the white Chalcedone, and we are going to put a few spoonfuls, and I say spoonful. Again, mica powder goes a long way, but I want this to be opaque. I don't want this to be translucent, because if the person receiving this decides that they want to put this on a wall, I don't want the color of the wall to show through. So I'm doing it in this more or less ivory, but this has a beautiful pearlescent finish as well. But it does take a minute to mix this amount of mica powder thoroughly. And you always want to make sure you're scraping the sides of your container. Get any mica powder that's on the sides, this that's on the top here. And make sure you're scraping the bottom of your container. Okay. Oops. And again, this is the background color, and we're going to be adding embellishments. We'll be adding the name and the birth date, all the facts, all the details surrounding the birth. So we're going to pour this and allow this to cure overnight. This is such a nice rich looking color. And right in the center. Okay, we'll get rid of the air bubbles with the heat gun. And we are going to leave this to cure overnight. So while the ivory resin is curing, I went on my computer and went to Canva and began playing with some rough layout ideas. So I have Welcome Avian Queen Sparrow. I have basically the branch of a family tree with mom and dad's name. I have the date of birth, which is Tuesday, February 14th. And because that's Valentine's Day, I then chose a heart clock to show the time of birth, how much she weighed, how long she was. And of course, I just snatched that picture from the text message and added it into a shape of a heart. So I had that, and then I made another copy and I put introducing, and then let me see, and then I made that heart stand out a little bit more. This heart is just a plain heart. This heart has a heart inside it, and then I also, the weight here is tiny, 22.5 inches, and I made that larger, made the birth date larger. I also, that's a Tuesday, February 14th, and here I changed the date to numbers and put a heart in between. And then I took out the green background and made a lot of the information much larger. I moved the date above the calendar, and then I added the zodiac sign. I also made the weight significantly larger, and instead of welcome Avian, I changed that to introducing Avian. So what I'm going to do is actually do her name on my Cricut Joy, and then the rest of this I'm going to print on tattoo paper. So let's get the Cricut Joy out, let's cut out her name, and then we will make a tattoo of this other information, place it on the ivory background, and then do a clear coat. All right. So what I've done is simply copy her name onto a blank sheet, and then I have uploaded it into Cricut Design Space. And so you see her name. I was choosing between whether to use whether to use a regular pink vinyl or to use a shimmer. So I'm going to go with the shimmer. So we have her name loaded in here. So we're going to go up to Make It. We are going to choose on Matte. We are going to press Confirm. And I have placed the vinyl on the mat. And so we click Continue. Okay, and we select Shimmer Vinyl. And I like to add just a little more pressure when this is being cut. And then I load the vinyl into the machine. And then I press go. Then we click Unload. And done. And let me position this so the light hits it correctly, so you can see. Let's see. Okay, there you go. Avian Queen Sparrow. So now we're going to just weed this. And whenever you're weeding anything that has the letter I, always make sure that you are keeping that dot. You do not lose that dot. Oop, my R's moved. Let's put those little guys back where they belong. All right, so there's her name, Avian Quinn Sparrow. And we will put a piece of strong grip vinyl over this. And that's ready to and that's ready to be added to her keepsake. So now we're going to switch gears and going back into Canva and going to print the rest of the design on the tattoo paper. We have created the name Avian Quinn Sparrow in Cricut Joy and cut it out in the shimmer vinyl. But we're going to do the rest of the art on this page using tattoo paper. You need to realize that when you use tattoo paper, the images need to be reversed. Now, here's something about Canva. I can click on this image and I can go up here to flip. It will ask me horizontal or vertical. I'll click horizontal and it turns the tree branch the opposite direction. So let's put that back, flip it the other way. However, you cannot flip text. You cannot flip text in Canva. So what you have to do with regard to text is just download this entire page and save it as a PNG file. So I'm going to go up here, hit share, download, and page 4 has already been selected. I'm going to hit download. And so here's my download. All right, so then what we need to do with this download is take it and save it. Okay, so now we have a blank page. We're going to take this image, the copy of the page that we downloaded as a PNG file. I believe that's the only way you can do it. I know you need PNG. And so we're going to go to upload, and then we're going to upload that image, that page. Upload. And now that the page shows up in uploads, we can then drag it. Oops. Okay. Now we can resize this to fit the page. And once we've done that, now if we go up and hit flip horizontal, everything gets reversed. So now my text, not only are my images reversed, but now my text is reversed. That's what I want. And so now I'm going to download the reverse. Okay, so there it is backwards. There it is backwards. And that's what we're going to print on the tattoo paper, the backwards image. So let me make sure you can see the difference in these two. That's front, or that's correct. And then this is, oops. See if I can line those up so you can. So there, you can see that these are opposites. This is 8 pounds 8 ounces, and this is ZO whatever whatever. So now we're going to put the tattoo paper in the printer, and we're going to print this reversed image. So whether you're using something like the Silhouette tattoo paper, or in my case using a different brand that I purchased online, you will always have 2 sheets, the tattoo paper, and you print on the glossy side, and then there's this adhesive sheet, and so I'll show you what to do with that. But now we're going to place this tattoo paper into the printer, and then we are going to print our reversed image. So we've loaded our tattoo paper into the printer, file, print, and you want to make sure that you have this clicked and changed to photo on glossy paper, and then we'll hit print. Okay, so this has printed, and we're just going to leave this sit here to dry for about 10 minutes before we apply it to the plaque. Okay, so now I am going to take the second sheet, the adhesive sheet. Let me see how. On the Silhouette, this comes, the corner is bent to make it easy to separate the adhesive sheet. This one, not so much. Okay, so I'm going to pull that up and get that started. And I am going to try and line that up as, yep, good job. And then just smooth this with my fingers. Try not to let any air bubbles in here. This looks real good. Okay, so the adhesive sheet is, again, I have one of these Cricut burnishing tools, but if you don't have that, you can always use the back of a credit card, well, the edge, not back, the edge of a credit card, the back of some scissors, does not matter. So all we're doing is making sure that this adhesive is firmly affixed to this. And then I am going to cut these out individually and then go into the studio where the I'm going to cut these out individually and then go into the studio, and then we'll apply them. Alrighty, we know this is all dry, because this is from yesterday, so you can see what this looks like. And so what we're going to do now is apply the name and the tattoos. Okay. Ooh. Work on that. Get this up. We need to remove the backing paper. And deciding on the placement. I am going to put that right about there. I'm not measuring anything, I'm just doing this by eyeball. And then remove. Okay, so the name is there, and then we always go back and burnish this with the backing paper on top. And that's that. That's her name on there. And then next are the tattoos. And so I am going to cut the scale. Now the thing I like about the tattoos is that there are no lines. Like if you use sticker paper, you'll have a line around the edges. If you use the tattoos, you don't have, oh, what is that? Oh. You don't have any lines. However, it's a little more difficult to line it up because this is opaque paper. So what we want to do now is that clear film that we put on there, we're going to pull that off. We're going to lay this where we want it to go. Press it down. And then I have a cup that has water and a damp sponge. And then we are going to just dampen this. And you want a damp sponge, not a dripping wet sponge. Or it doesn't have to be a sponge, it can be a cloth as well. But it needs to be real damp but not dripping wet. And when you think you have it, when you can actually see the design, when you can see the design through the paper, then it's probably wet enough. And so then we are going to carefully that's because I didn't wet that enough. And then go back in. Okay, and that's how we will do the rest. So now I'm going to take the weight and I didn't do it on that one, but it's a good idea to cut pretty close to your image. So we're going to cut around the weight. Well, this is not weight, this is length. We're going to cut this out. And we want this about there. And again, the only thing I don't like about using the tattoo paper is that you cannot see through it to know that your image is exactly where you want it to be. So let's oh, for crying out loud. You didn't tell me to take the film off. That's why it's not sticking. You guys are watching me and this is not going on well because I didn't follow my own directions. I didn't take the... Ooh, and when you do this, make sure your hands are dry. But I forgot to take the vinyl. Take the backing paper off, the clear... Forgot to take that clear film. You gotta remove the clear... Remove the backing paper. Did I do that right? I don't know. What the hell? I did this in reverse. We'll have to come back and fix this one. Okay, so now, okay, that's wrong. So we're taking the clear part off. We need to put this here, like so. That I have to redo. There we go. That's the way it's supposed to be done. I don't know what I was thinking when I did that. So. And then let's see. And if it doesn't seem like it's peeling up like it should, just wet it some more. Got some air bubbles in here. Okay, so I have to get this off of here. And reprint this one. And if you want to remove a tattoo, all you need to do is use some alcohol. Alright, so I'm going to go reprint the length and then I'll be back. Just wiping this off with some nail polish remover with some acetone to make sure all of the adhesive is off of there. So I have reprinted the length tattoo. I'm gonna put it here. I'm going to put this adhesive piece over it. I'm gonna burnish it real good. And again, I'm going to cut okay, so now this is done. We're going to take the clear film off, which we didn't do the last time. We are going to lay that right about there. And then we are going to just all right, there we go. That's what we wanted. That I didn't take the backing off the first time. Okay, so we're going to let this dry and then we'll come back and we'll pour a clear coat over this to seal it. I just noticed that the record light was not on. So as a recap, in this cup is 50 milliliters of part A resin, and 50 milliliters of part B hardener. And I will be mixing that for 5 minutes and then pour a clear coat right on top of this. Okay, so now we are simply going to do a clear coat and getting my sticks underneath my board because my table is just off enough. So then we pour. And then we just make sure that this is even and that it's in every single nook and cranny all the way to these edges. You still have to make sure that all of these curves, there's resin in every one of these curves. And then like there's an empty spot right there. So we want to move that over there. There's an empty spot right there. Okay, that looks good to me. So we'll put the heat gun to get rid of any air bubbles. And then we will cover this and allow it to cure overnight. We did the clear coat yesterday, and so now we're just going to take this, remove the cover and unmold this and see what we're working with here. Alrighty. I like that this particular mold has a little tab here because that makes it easier to unmold, gives you something to grab onto. Alrighty, that's the back, and let's turn it around and let's take a look-see. I like that. And so what I'm going to do now, these edges are, this is a very clean pour. Lately, everything I've been doing has like turned out just right. Remember, we had to fix this tattoo. But the edge, I am just going to take my Dremel and go right along this edge because while it's a clean pour, you can see that's really a nice job. While this is a clean pour, again, I'm always concerned that these edges are somewhat sharp, so I'm going to take my Dremel and I'm just going to run it right along the edges here, only because it's faster than doing it with the sanding sponge. When I'm sanding, I always have my vacuum cleaner handy. That way it can collect a lot of the dust as it's going into the air. So let's just get this done here. pour was perfect. And I use these, what do you call these, Swiffer dusting cloths. And when I'm sanding, I discovered these are a great cleanup because they pick up everything. And so for all intents and purposes, this is finished as it is, but I decided that I want to go along the edge with some color. And I was debating between pink and green, and opted, since we have pink here and her name is in pink. So I'm going to go around the edge with this Craft Smart metallic paint pen. So let's see if we like this. Ooh, that's bright. That's really brighter than what I want. I don't know that I like that. Let me see what else I have. I don't like that you can kind of see a cast of the pink along the inside edge. I don't like that. Let me see what else I have. I have another metallic pen. This one says red. So let's see what this looks like on here. I don't like that. It is red. All right, and this is a, this just says multi-purpose pen, and it's pink. So let's see. Oh, that's very subtle. I like that. So that was the original metallic pink. That's metallic red. And then this is regular pink. I think you can see. Pink metallic, red metallic, and then you can barely see the pink on that. I'm going to use some nail polish remover or acetone to get this off of here. Oh, that's funny. Actually, I almost like that half wiped off. That's actually more the shade I had in mind. That really is the amount of pink that I want on there. I don't know. I am still experimenting with the finish. This is some folk art glitter, what is this called? Extreme glitter acrylic paint. So I'm going to put a little bit of that on here. And so glitter instead of pink, gold glitter. And this is fine. I mean, this is fine as is, but when you see it on the wall, if I don't know, just to me the edges need to be finished. They need to be special. Okay, we're going to have to let this dry so we can see what the end result actually is. So I'm just going to set that. I'm just going to set that there. We'll let that dry and then decide whether or not that's what we want to do. But I do want some kind of color along this edge. Alrighty, we're going to let that dry, and I'll be back in a little bit. Off camera, I took all of that off. The gold was pretty. I think the problem is Craft Smart used to sell these glitter paint pens. This one's blue. I had another one in pink, and that was the perfect shade that I wanted for this edge. But they don't carry these anymore. They don't carry these anymore. So I went online and ordered some glitter pens. What's this say? I don't know. A Artistro. I don't know how to pronounce that. Artistro. So I went and bought another set of glitter pens. And so we're going to try this pink and see how this works. This one from Craft Smart, this was the, if it were pink, this would have been perfect, because I had it and I used it all up, and they don't carry it anymore. So let's try this one. Alrighty, let's see what we've got here. Well, that's an okay pink. This doesn't have a broad tip. This had a broad tip. Ooh, that's pretty. This had a broad tip. This one, however, has a fine tip. And this says glitter, but I don't see glitter. That's funny, I don't see glitter in this. All right, let me just sit here and paint this, and maybe as I get going, the glitter will come down. But this is a nicer pink, more of a rose. That's actually more shimmery than glittery, but I'm gonna go ahead. We're gonna use this. As opposed to looking like glitter, this has more of a pearlescent finish to it. And then once this dries, I'll go over it with a second coat, and that'll fill in any of the spots that I might have missed. So all the edges are done, and I'll come back in about 15 minutes and put a second coat on this. And then the only thing I will need to do after that is put a hanger on the back of this. So we are done for now. Off camera, I put the second coat on the edge, and so now we need to, I have these 3M picture hanger, I think they call them plate hangers. These 3M plate hanger hooks, they are self-adhesive. I've already measured and marked where I want this to go. And so we're going to place that right about there. So that's that.